Hey, what's going on there, Assassin family? It is your girl, Pretty Sexy Jar Brand, aka Son Assassin, and we are coming to you live for another review, another recap of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 3, High Notes and Cheap Shots. Baby. Now that's the title. So yes, y'all. We opened up, and our opening scene is with our girl Britt and her husband, and they are having family over. And baby, it's gonna be a family day. Our girl Britt looks good. Of course, we find out our girl Britt used to be a video vixen back in the day, and baby, Britt was that girl. And our girl Britt has dated. Okay, she's lived her best life. But now our girl has settled down. She is happy with her husband, and she is just taking in, new life, new wife. Period. Our girl looks beautiful. The family is having the meal cooked by a chef. It's just giving the vibes, relaxing, and as they sit down at the table, of course they're asking Britt, how's her experience being in this new group of ladies, and baby. We get into the tea about Brit and Kenya just a little bit, about how strongly Brit feels that, Kenya needs to cut back on the read the shade and just the theatrics. And baby, it's just interesting to see, her have this moment and express it. Mm, baby, it's time to discuss this Brit ceremony. And Mike's like, okay, we already got married. I don't really want to talk about the ceremony. But it's crazy. But then we see our girl Britt go downstairs with her husband's sister and they have a conversation. And of course they're talking about everything, the importance of family and, about Britt losing her father and just about a little bit more about Britt's life and details. And I love just to find out about our girl and just to hear what Brent has been through and just what her family has experienced. It is just amazing to see her share and be so vulnerable and open with us. I mean, like I said, Brit is one of the newest housewives. And like I keep telling everyone, there's more to Brit than what we see. And I just feel like the more the show goes on, the more we're going to see the star that Brit is. Just my personal opinion, especially just seeing her have this family time, this one on one, and just talk. I think it's very beautiful and great to see. And y'all, as we get into our next scene. So yes, guys. We get into our next scene. It is our girl Portia and Kills, and they are meeting up, and they're having their one on one, and baby, let's just say our girl Portia is already having the drinks, and our girl Kills is coming in looking very beautiful, and just like ready to just sit down and have I guess the conversation and really get to know each other because y'all know the ladies did kind of start off on a hot flame, but I think this one on one is going to be a good time, a good conversation, and a good topic. And baby, and just to see the girls, out and about, eating and talking and catching up and just having a conversation. And actually, how we even got to just sit down and meet up is because our girl Kel is having an event and she called and invited Portia. And after that, they decided to set up and have a one on one. And baby, let's just say this one-on-one is very interesting to see because it's giving this vibe, this energy, like we're just getting to know one another, we're trying to see where one another is as friend. And baby, of course, we get into the conversation when Kels was with Shamia and Britt, and the question that Kels asked, why did the lady take the lady's husband? And, has brought these ladies to this conversation in this one on one and sit down. And, I think it's very interesting to see, especially, that Portia is going through her divorce from her ex husband and just having this conversation as adults and as women just goes to show, how miscommunication can always be resolved with conversation. Y'all, as we get into our next scene, baby, this is juicy. Oh, girls. So, baby, yes, y'all. As we get into our next scene, it is our girl Drew. She is in the studio and she recording, and baby, for her EP. And baby, next thing you know, our girl gets in a booth. We hear her blowing and singing and doing her twos and twos. And baby, the next thing you know, we see our girl Miss Angela, Cynthia, and Kenya come in. And baby, the ladies are walking in on her track produced by Portia's um child's father. And baby, let's just say the lady's like, baby, I know a love song when I hear a love song. Baby, things was getting juicy real fast. As Drew was coming outside of the studio booth and out of the recording booth, they were sitting down and let's just say they jumped right on into it, you know, about Drew's working relationship and how Portia's feeling about the conversation that was had at the party, baby, about, Drew getting in contact with Portia, and just seeing how they could establish this comfortability or having her blessings to working with her child's father. Baby, let's just say the girls was getting to it. We also get into about how Miss Angela ended up with her husband, Mr. Charles Oakley, baby. And let's say our girl said, baby, she was talking to everybody in the building. Because she said he asked her for her number in the elevator. And baby, she was like, okay, I got to find out about this man. That's my type of girl. That's how you get the tea. And then, baby, it just gets so juicy. Kenya was like, so, Drew, about you and Portia's child's father, like, you don't understand this situation is not looking good for you. It's kind of like you look like a whore. And I was like, a whore? I don't think that, but okay. But y'all remember a few seasons back when, that's what they were calling Kenya? It's kind of crazy how this thing is like flipping like this. But y'all, that scene ends on, a very high note. And then we get into our next scene, and it is our girl, Shamia, and she is sitting out in her beautiful home talking to her sisters, about her and her IVF journey and her being a mom and just continuing to grow her family and just how it has been, just for her as a wife and trying to make it as a parent and just fulfill her husband's wishes. And as they are having this conversation, you can tell that Shamia's family is very much so in support of her and loving her and just pushing her to stay high in spirits. And I'm loving to see that. And just seeing our girl, Miss Shamia, you know, give us just 100% her being an authentic 100% housewife. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Y'all, baby. And then as we get into our next scene. So, yes, y'all. Okay, as we get into our next scene, it is our girl, Miss Angela Oakley. And, baby, we are at one of her properties that she's been investing in and remodeling. And, baby, let me tell you something. This house looks good. Okay, Miss Oakley. This how you do it on the girls. Show them how to flip the money and make a very nice profit in coin. And as Miss Oakley's outside, of course, her husband Charles pulls up, and baby, they are walking around the property, and of course, Charles is inspecting it and looking around, just to see what's going on, see if everything working, and we get a one-on-one and find out a little bit more about Miss Angela. But in our one-on-one, we find out that in 2017 that there was an incident with Charles in New York, and Miss Angela and Charles had to take a little break, and they have been going to seek counseling and therapy, and they've been together and been able to move past and work forth on those things. And it's just good to see Miss Angela in her zone and, doing what she loves to do and having the support of her husband. It's great to see. And then y'all, we move into our next scene, and it is our girl Shamia, and she's getting ready to take her daughter to the hospital to have surgery. And baby, she is having her tonsils removed. And baby, you know, Shamia says her daughter's more excited than she is. Like she's nervous there about the surgery, but she's like, she says just keep calm and keep a brave face. And it's just good to see our girl. And Shamia is in the hospital, and she's like, y'all, wanna know if you can tell if a dad's nervous? Um, our daughter walked out the room about 20 minutes ago, and my husband's just been standing up this entire time. And she asked him, she's like, husband, what you doing? He's like, I'm just stretching my legs. She's like, that's how you know a dad's nervous, which is very, very true. But a very beautiful moment we get to see between Shamia and her husband, and just the love that they have for their babies, which is very beautiful. And then, y'all, we get into our next scene. And, baby, it is our girl Portia, and it's her and her mom, and they are going for a spa day. And, baby, let's just say the ladies said they need to relax and unwind. And Portia says, the only time she actually can clear her mind and have time to think is when she's getting a massage, as this divorce situation has turned out way crazier than she was expecting it to. And she's like, her first divorce did not feel anything like this. And this divorce absolutely feels just out of her hands, out of her legs, and she's doing the best that she can. And then, y'all, we jump from that scene to we see our girl Shamia coming back from the hospital with her baby, showing the balloons, of course, calling Auntie Portia to let her see, her tonsils have been removed. And as we see, all the ladies are actually getting ready for Kelly's ball main event to bring awareness. And, we just see everybody getting ready, going around, seeing, the girls get prepped and glammed up, getting their makeup and things done. And then the next thing, no, we get into our next scene, and we are at our girls' Kale's ball main event, and baby, the ladies are showing up and showing out, dressed from head to toe, looking good. Baby, our girl Kenya, Portia, baby Cynthia, baby, all the girls are just showing up and showing out. All the ladies are looking good at the event, and as they're walking around talking, our girl Cynthia comes in. She has one on one with our girl Portia. It's just giving the vibes. And, it's nice to see these ladies are supporting and standing with and behind Portia. And then the next thing guess who pulls up to the scene? It is our girl Shamia in all white. She looking good. Our girl Miss Angela. And of course our girl Britt. The ladies are looking good. Eat, okay? And while they're at the event, baby, you know, Miss Angela and Shamia have not seen each other since they had, their little word exchange, And then the next thing we see is our ladies, trying to talk, have a conversation, kind of turns to a reading match. In that reading session, and baby, I'm and gagged and gulped and just like, eh. I didn't know the ladies felt like that. I didn't know the girls was giving it up like that. What's tea? And Shamia said, you can go somewhere with your flavor nose. Shamia, I was not expecting that type of read, especially at this event, especially when we're bringing awareness. Girl, the girls is fighting and slanging and fighting. Baby, it's crazy. It's wild. But it's the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I would expect just a little bit of shade at an event. But then we see our girl Drew comes in, and it gets very awkward because Drew comes in with her sister. She has her kids, baby. It's giving side eyes. We looking around the room. We're not having conversation. It's very interesting because Drew has brought her sister along, and baby, Portia is just like, I'm here, but I don't see the girls. I'm here, but I don't. I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna be on this side. This what I'm doing. Baby, it's just it's giving it's some tea. Okay. And then, we see Drew at the event and she is talking to Shamia. She's hugging. She's around all the ladies. And then she sees Portia and she's like, you know, mm, I mean, I've been trying to catch up with Portia. I mean, we've been trying to sit down, have conversation and talk. And I'm like, Drew, you know this lady not gonna talk to you. You done brought your sister to this event. And I'm like, Portia, I'm not gonna talk to you. If we're gonna have a conversation, we're gonna have our conversation one on one. We not bringing our families and getting those other people involved because they ain't got nothing to do with this. This is between us, not them. Clock it. And baby, our girl Portia just tells Drew like she's not interested in having a conversation today. She's not up to it because I mean you brought your sister. I'm here by myself, girl. What's tea? And y'all, that is how we close out episode 3 of season 16. High note and cheap shots. Y'all, it's been your girl Pretty Sexy Charlotte Rant, aka Stone Assassin. Until next time, Assassin family, your girl is out.